My girlfriend posted my proud $15,000 car. No need to rely on my useless boyfriend. It was my restoration project re-registered in her name with forged docs. She was utterly shocked when I gave her the silver bracelets as a gift. She posted it on Instagram, all glossy and triumphant Chloe, striking that perfect pose against the gleaming silver side of the Airstream trailer I'd spent a year restoring. The caption read, "Finally manifested my dream into reality. Women always know your worth. Airstream life. Boss babe." Her smile screamed victory, like she'd willed it into existence with sheer vibe. I stared at my phone screen in the dim light of my workshop. No rage boiled up. No frantic texts flew from my fingers. I just set the phone down and whispered to the empty room, "That's my trailer." Then I walked over to the filing cabinet, pulled open the bottom drawer, and started flipping through the folders. My name is Ethan, 32 years old, and for the last decade I've made a living, breathing new life into old things. Furniture that's seen better days, antique tools rusted from neglect, metal frames bent by time. But nothing fired me up like that Airstream trailer. I found it in a junkyard outside town, a 1950s relic buried under vines and forgotten dreams. The shell was solid, but everything inside a gut job. I remember the first night I towed it back to my workshop. The place is a converted barn on the edge of the woods, smells like sawdust and fresh varnish. I cleared out a corner, rolled up my sleeves, and got to work. Stripped the panels down to the rivets. Sanded every inch of that aluminum skin until it shone like it just rolled off the assembly line. 12 months of weekends and late nights, that's what it took. Money I poured in every spare dollar from my savings. About $15,000 in materials alone: oak for the floors, brass fixtures for the galley, custom LED wiring that wouldn't short in a rainstorm. My hands blistered from the grind, calluses built up like armor. But watching those time-lapse videos I shot, seeing the chaos turn into something functional, beautiful, that was the payoff. It wasn't just a trailer, it was my escape pod. A rolling cabin where I could unplug, chase sunsets maybe one day, park it by a lake and call it home base for whatever came next. That's where Chloe fits in. Or rather, where she started to wedge herself in. We met at a craft fair last summer. She was there hawking her empowerment journals, pretty notebooks with affirmations scribbled in gold ink. 28 with that effortless glow from too many filters and green juices. Self-proclaimed life coach, influencer in the making. Her whole vibe was manifest your empire, all high-energy TED Talks and vision boards. I liked her fire at first. She saw my booth of restored chairs and said, "Ethan, you're not just fixing wood, you're rebuilding souls." We clicked over coffee that turned into dinners, then weekends at my place. She talked non-stop about personal branding. "Energy is currency," she'd say, scrolling her phone for inspo pics. "You've got to curate your life like it's a feed." I'd nod, half listening while sketching cabinet designs. She didn't get the hands-on part much. My world was tangible grain of wood under your palm, the satisfying click of a dovetail joint. Hers, algorithms and aesthetics. But hey, opposites attract, right? The red flags. They were there from the jump, waving like caution tape. She'd breeze into the workshop, heels clicking on the concrete, and wrinkle her nose at the dust. "Babe, this place has such potential. Imagine if you live-streamed the builds, #artisan vibes." I'd laugh it off. Tell her about the physics of torque on a vintage axle. She'd glaze over, pivot to her latest client breakthrough. One night she sized up the Airstream mid-restoration and lit up. "Oh my God, Ethan, this is gold. A nomadic dream machine. You could totally rebrand it for retreats." I brushed it aside. It was my project, not a prop. But she kept circling back. Pinned mood boards to the fridge, glam shots of influencers in linen caftans parked in desert sunsets. "It's perfect for my launch event. The retreat roadmap. 3 days of workshops on owning your power. We could borrow it just for that. Think of the exposure for your work." Borrow. That word hung there casual as handing over keys to a truck. I hesitated. She leaned in, eyes wide with that practiced sparkle. Come on, we're building something together. Your skill's my vision. It's synergy. Synergy. Yeah. I let it slide because, well, love makes you generous. Or blind. I handed over the title docs for safekeeping, figured we'd trailer it to the venue together. Help set up, but she waved me off. I've got Kelsey handling logistics. My bestie from yoga, she's a total pro. Kelsey. The echo in Chloe's stories always hyping her up in comments. I didn't push. Instead, I focused on finishing the final touches, polishing the chrome accents, testing the solar panels I'd wired myself. Looking back, the signs were etched in every conversation. She'd dismissed my long hours with a sigh. Restoration's so analog. In my world, we pivot faster. Or when I'd show her a progress pic, she'd zoom in on the aesthetics. Cute, but add some boho throws, make it Instagrammable. Never once asked about the sweat equity, the way I'd skip meals to hit deadlines, or how that trailer represented years of scraping by on commissions. To her, it was a backdrop, a shiny asset for her glow-up. The event was set for a vineyard outside the city. Intimate, she called it. 50 power women mimosas at dawn, her big reveal as the guru they'd been waiting for. She promised to bring it back spotless, loaded with leads on custom van builds. I believed her, or wanted to. Signed off on the temp insurance, watched her drive away in it one crisp morning, waving like it was all part of the plan. That was 3 weeks before the post hit my feed. The one that turned my stomach not with fury, but with that cold click of realization. Like a joint finally seating into place. I didn't scream, didn't smash my phone against the workbench. Emotions, they flickered betrayal like a splinter under the skin, but I shoved them down. Deep breaths. That's what separates builders from breakers. You assess the damage first, then you reinforce. The post stared back at me, Chloe's grin frozen in pixels. Likes pouring in. Comments from strangers, queen energy, living your best life. I scrolled through the thread. Stories of her journey to claim the Airstream. Hashtags about manifestation and glow-ups. Not a whisper of me. Not the guy who'd welded the frame at 3 a.m. or sunk his savings into that beast. I closed the app, stood up, walked to the pegboard where my tools hung in perfect rows, hammers graduated by weight chisels sharp enough to shave with. Routine grounds you. I grabbed a notebook, the kind with graph paper for precise sketches, flipped to a fresh page, jotted the date, then facts only. Step 1. Verify ownership. I pulled the filing cabinet again, deeper this time. The original bill of sale from the junkyard auction, yellowed paper, my signature bold at the bottom. Dated 18 months back. Paid in full with a cashier's check for $3,000. I scanned it into my laptop, the whir of the machine steady like a heartbeat. Next receipts. Every nut bolt plank. I had them alphabetized in a binder, adhesives, electrical finishes. Flipped through 800 for the oak flooring from that mill in Vermont. 1,200 on brass hardware from a supplier in Chicago. Solar panels, 4,000 out of pocket, installed by hand to code. I printed them all. Stacks of crisp black and white proof timestamps aligning with my bank statements. No loans, no partners listed. Just Ethan Hale, sole proprietor. By now, the workshop felt smaller air, thicker. But my hands stayed steady. I booted up the external drive, terabytes of progress logs. Hundreds of photos before shots of the rusted hull midway with exposed wiring like veins. Time lapses I'd edited on rainy afternoons, watching the trailer transform from skeleton to sanctuary. I queued them up, exporting clips to a new folder labeled Evidence. One image stopped me cold. The oak subfloor mid-install. I'd planned it smooth myself, grain running like rivers under the blade. In a quiet moment alone with the scent of fresh sawdust, I'd carved our initials into a hidden joist. E+C forever. A silly impulse back when forever felt possible. Now it was a signature. Undeniable provenance. I zoomed in on the photo, clear as day, etched deep enough to outlast varnish. Smart move, subconscious. I added it to the pile. The clock ticked past midnight. My phone buzzed once Kelsey's tag on the post, slaying girl nomad vibes incoming. I ignored it. Poured coffee black. Sat at the drafting table, outlined the timeline when Chloe borrowed it, the event date, her sudden radio silence after. The re-registration I'd checked DMV in the morning, but gut said forged. Title docs I'd loaned her probably scanned and altered. Common trick in these scams. But provable. Here's the detail that matters, the one you tuck away for nights like this. Always watermark your digital files. Not obvious but embedded metadata timestamps, GPS from the phone camera, even XIF data on edits. Mine were locked down. I'd used free software, open source stuff any hobbyist can grab. Layers invisible to the eye, but bulletproof in court. Chloe. She wouldn't know metadata from a mood board. Dawn cracked the horizon gray light filtering through the barn slats. I hadn't slept. Didn't need to. Adrenaline's a fine substitute when the plan sharpens. I bundled the prints into a folder tabbed sections: ownership, expenses, visuals. Burned copies to a USB encrypted with a passphrase only I knew. Then the call, non-emergency line for the local PD. I dialed from the landline voice even as planed oak. Good morning. I'd like to report a case of theft by deception. Grand larceny, property value exceeding $20,000. The dispatcher paused. Routine stuff doesn't start like that. I gave my name, address. No drama, just facts. The trailer's VIN, make, model, Chloe's full name, her borrowing agreement, verbal, but backed by texts I'd screenshot months back. She has it registered in her name now. I have the originals here. They asked for details. I walked them through it, measured pace. No accusations, just the chain: acquisition, restoration, costs her access. It's not just the trailer. It's the intellectual property and the custom work. Rivets I hand-forged, wiring diagrams I drafted. The officer on the line, Raymond, badge number, crisp, hummed acknowledgement. Sounds like a solid paper trail, Mr. Hale. We'll need you to come in, file formally. Bring everything. I agreed. Scheduled for 10 a.m. Hung up. Stared at the receiver a beat. First move made. Check. But here's where it accelerates. I didn't stop at the station house. Pulled up Chloe's feed again, live stories now, her unboxing the trailer's interior. Clearing out the old Energy Queen's new crystals in every corner. I screen recorded it, all timestamped. Noted the geotag, that vineyard 40 miles out. Her event was tomorrow, big reveal, influencers galore. Perfect timing. I texted my attorney, a guy from the Craft Guild who'd handled IP disputes before. Hypothetical girlfriend absconds with restored vehicle. Forged title. His reply pinged fast. Civil suit for conversion plus criminal fraud. But loop in PD first. They've got forensics for docs. Smart. I'd pay his retainer by noon. The binder sat heavy on the table, a blueprint of justice. Not revenge, too messy, too emotional. This was reclamation. Piece by piece, I'd map the takedown. Let her build her empire on sand. I'd bring the tide. By 9, I was showered, dressed plain jeans, button-down boots, polished. Folder, underarm, USB in pocket. Drove the truck into town, radio off. Mind racing ahead, the detective's questions, her alibi crumbling. The oak joist waiting like a trapdoor, parked outside the precinct. Stepped out into the crisp air. Felt the weight lift, just a fraction. The design was set. Now execute. While I pieced together my case in the quiet of the workshop, Chloe turned the volume all the way up. Her feed exploded like a fireworks show no one asked for. Stories on stories, reels looping her transformation journey. She had the Airstream parked like a trophy in that vineyard lot, fairy lights strung across the awning I'd riveted myself. First post hit that afternoon, a slow pan over the interior, her voiceover all breathy and enlightened. Queens, I've been smudging the sage through every nook, clearing out that stagnant masculine energy. This space, it's vibrating on a whole new frequency now. I watched it on mute, at first coffee going cold in my mug. Then I hit play. There she was, waving a bundle of herbs like a magic wand, smoke curling around the oak cabinets I'd planned for hours. Old vibes gotta go. We're manifesting abundance here. Likes ticked up in real time. Comments from her circle, fire emojis, heart eyes. Yas sis, own that glow up. Not one mention of the guy who'd sunk his weekends into making it livable, or the fact that abundance started with my bank account. By evening, the posts escalated. She shared a carousel before and after shots. Before cute, but so basic. After boho boss babe paradise. The after showed her swapping my leather-upholstered bench seats for pastel throw pillows, cheap ones from some fast fashion drop. She drilled new holes for curtain rods right through the walnut trim I'd inlaid by hand. Added these sheer linen drapes. Lets in the light, lets out the doubt. Doubt. Yeah. I paused on that slide, thumb hovering. The damage was cosmetic, sure, but each puncture mark a tiny betrayal etched in wood. My phone lit up around 9. A text from her, the first in days. Babe, this trailer's a game changer. I'm out here building our future. You should see the energy, it's electric. Miss you, come join the vibe, our future. Right, I read it twice, the words blurring into that practice script she used on clients. Empowerment coach lingo twisted just enough to pull you back in. I didn't reply, just archived the screenshot next to the others. Timestamp 2114. Evidence of the gaslight. The next morning, her stories went full production. Kelsey showed up, her bestie, all yoga-toned limbs and matching athleisure. They'd set up a ring light in the galley kitchen, the one I'd plumbed with vintage copper lines. Video started with Chloe cross-legged on the floor, eyes closed in mock meditation. Deep breath in, release the attachments. Cut to Kelsey filming from her phone. Chloe's not just launching her brand, she's redefining nomadic luxury, this Airstream iconic. Chloe popped up behind her, draping an arm over Kelsey's shoulder. Thanks, babe. It's all about alignment. Ethan gets it, he's the builder. But I'm the visionary. Visionary. I snorted into my oatmeal. Builder gets it. Like I was the hired help, not the heart behind the hull. Kelsey chimed in, all wide-eyed hype. Girl, you're a symbol. Women everywhere are gonna book those retreats just to feel this power. They clinked crystal water glasses, mine etched with constellations I'd laser-cut one stoned night. #storm followed, Joarnacher nomad queen, Jockern energy shift, Chokka manifest magic. Views climbed into the thousands. Shares from micro-influencers, each one a ripple in her echo chamber. I kept tabs from the road heading back from the precinct. Detective Raymond had taken my statement, flipped through the binder like a man who'd seen it all. Solid work, Mr. Hale. We'll verify the title forgery, run the VIN. Her events tomorrow might make for interesting timing. I nodded, thanked him. Drove home with the radio low jazz bass underscoring the hum of tires. Chloe's latest reel pinged through Bluetooth. Quick Q&A loves how do I stay grounded in chaos. Kelsey off camera by surrounding yourself with yes people, like me, laughter filtered and flawless. Chloe leaned into frame. And trusting the universe to deliver. It always does. Grounded. Chaos. The irony settled like fine dust on a fresh finish. While she preached alignment, her universe was a stolen shell repainted with platitudes. I pulled into the driveway, killed the engine. Checked the app again, another post, this one, a boomerang of her twirling in the doorway, wind machine whipping her hair. Event Eve, 50 souls ready to awaken. Who's manifesting with me? The trailer gleamed behind her, my solar panels powering the whole charade. Comments flooded, obsessed. Teach us your ways. That night, the texts ramped up. First one soft, Ethan radio silence is so last season. Talk to me. Then probing, saw your truck pass the vineyard sign. Pop in Kelsey's making margaritas. By midnight, the hook, this is for us, you know. The brand's gonna explode commissions for your builds, babe. We're a power couple. Power couple. I stared at the screen, the words glowing like bad neon. Archived it all. No response. Silence was my move, the quiet before the reveal. Kelsey's stories filled the gaps. Guest clips from beta testers, women in flowy pants nodding sagely as Chloe led a circle around the fire pit I'd welded. Feel that shift, that's you claiming space. Kelsey captioned one, My girl's a force. A Chloe Vibes official dropping truth bombs from wheels. Force. Truth. I muted the notifications, but the pull was there. Not anger, disgust, mostly. At the ease of it. How she'd layer lies over labor turned sweat into sparkle. Sunday dawned golden, the kind of light that begs for road trips. Not hers, though. Her feed was a frenzy now. Live prep Kelsey, hauling in branded totes, Chloe directing like a director. Curtains up literally, these new ones scream serenity. Video looped the install screws twisting into my trim fabric pooling like spilled dreams. Ethan would love this aesthetic upgrade. He's all about function, but function needs flair. Upgrade. My grip tightened on the phone. Flair funded by forgery. The manipulation peaked with a voice note, her tone all honeyed urgency. Hey love, event's buzzing. Wish you were here seeing the magic. This trailer's our ticket, yours and mine. Call me, let's align. Align. I deleted it without playing the end. Let her chase the echo. By afternoon, the vineyard hummed virtual. Teasers dropped, doors open at dusk, transformative vibes only. Kelsey went live from the exterior, panning the airstream like a red carpet arrival. Chloe's empire starts here. Symbol of freedom, baby. Cheers from off-screen. Chloe's face filled the frame, radiant, untouchable. Grateful for the journey. Grateful for the ride. Ride. Yeah. I closed the app, turned to the window. The workshop waited, tools gleaming. Her crescendo was building. Mine already tuned. The vineyard sprawled under a lavender dusk. Rows of vines heavy with late-season grapes, air thick with the scent of earth and ambition. Chloe's big night. The retreat roadmap launch. 50 women in linen wraps and statement necklaces milled around high-top tables clutching stemless glasses of rosé. String lights crisscrossed above, casting that golden hour filter she obsessed over. The Airstream sat at the heart of it all, propped like a stage prop awning, extended my custom fire pit crackling with rented logs. She'd rebranded the whole setup Sanctuary on Wheels. Banners fluttering in the breeze. I watched from the tree-lined truck idling a quarter-mile out. Binoculars from an old hiking kit pressed to my eyes. Not stalking. Recon. Detective Raymond had texted an hour prior. Warrant processed. Team en route. Stay clear unless called. Clear. Right. But I'd driven the perimeter twice, noting the single access road, the valet cluster by the gate. Her empire built on my blueprint. Fitting it ended here. Kelsey's live feed flickered on my phone propped in the dash. She held court from the trailer's steps. Phone angled for that wide lens drama. Queens, we're moments away from the big reveal. Chloe's about to drop the mic on manifestation magic. Who's tuning in from home, hit that heart? Comments scrolled, here for the vibes, slay Chloe, view count climbed 3,004. The stream shook as Kelsey panned the crowd faces flushed with wine and wonder. Chloe hovered at the edge, adjusting her silk kimono, the one she'd borrowed from my closet for event energy. It hung loose on her like everything else. She stepped up then onto the platform I'd welded from scrap steel. The one meant for stargazing, not spotlights. Microphones crackled to life, wireless lavs clipped to her collar. Kelsey zoomed in tight. All right, loves, deep breath. Our visionary is here. Chloe raised her arms, palms up like she was channeling the actual universe. The crowd hushed, a ripple of anticipation. She scanned them, eyes gleaming under the lights. That smile, polished, predatory. Sisters. Thank you for showing up as your highest selves tonight. This isn't just an event. It's a portal. I shifted in the seat, knuckles white on the wheel. Portal. Yeah. To what her words flowed, scripted honey. We've all been there, stuck in the grind, dimming our light for someone else's shadow. But tonight, we claim the wheel. We manifest the ride. Laughter rippled, claps building. She gestured to the Airstream, my Airstream spotlit like a crown jewel. Look at this beauty, from rust to radiance. That's us. That's the work. Kelsey whooped off camera. Preach! The feed glitched for a second wind signal. No matter, views hit 10,000. Chloe paced, now heels clicking on the decking I'd sealed against weather. I didn't build this alone. Shout out to the hands that shaped it strong, steady. But vision, that's the spark. Strong, steady. Me reduced to a footnote. The crowd ate it up, phones out, capturing her glow. She lifted her glass champagne flute, bubbles catching the light. To owning our power. To rolling forward unapologetic. Cheers to the queens who know their worth. The toast rose like a wave. Glasses clinked. Cheers echoed off the vines. Chloe's face filled the screen, triumphant mid-sip. That's when the cruisers crested the hill, 2 unmarked lights off, but grills unmistakable. No sirens, professional, Raymond's team. They bumped to a stop at the gate doors, swinging silent. 4 officers in plain clothes melted into the crowd's edge, badges glinting under the strings. Kelsey's stream caught the murmur first. A guest near the bar, cop's weird flex. Chloe faltered, mid-cheer glass hovering. Her eyes flicked to the perimeter that practiced poise, cracking just a hair. Everything's perfect, she said, voice pitching up. Kelsey swung the camera wild. Hold up, what's this vibe check? The feed trembled, her hand shaking now. Whispers spread like dry leaves. A woman in the front row lowered her glass. Is this part of the show? The lead officer, Raymond himself, I recognized. The build stepped forward, parting the sea of caftans. No rush. Methodical. Ms. Chloe Vance, his voice cut clean, amplified by the open mic she'd left hot. Chloe froze, flute trembling. The crowd hushed to a pin drop. Yes. She forced the smile, but it wobbled. Kelsey backed up, phone dipping. Guys, technical difficulties. Views surged 20,000. Comments exploding. WTF? Drama alert. Raymond held up his badge, deliberate. Detective Raymond, local PD, we need a word. Privately. But Chloe played it bold, that influencer instinct kicking in. Oh, honey, everything's public here. Transparency is the brand. Laughter, nervous now. She set the glass down on my railing, clink, echoing. Raymond didn't blink. Ma'am, this is regarding a theft report. Vehicle in question, 1952 Airstream trailer VIN ending in 4792. Gasps rippled. Chloe's laugh came out shrill. Theft, that's adorable. This is my baby, manifested fair and square. He nodded to his partner, a woman with a tablet. We've got the warrant. Title forgery, grand larceny. Step aside, please. The partner tapped her screen, projecting docs onto a nearby easel, Chloe's own setup for vision boards. Blown-up scans, my original bill of sale. Forged signature circled in red. Receipts time-stamped. The crowd leaned in, phones forgotten. Kelsey's stream went haywire, zooming on the evidence, then whipping back to Chloe's face. Pale now. Sweat beading under the lights. Wait, this is a misunderstanding. Chloe's voice cracked, hands up like surrender. Ethan, my partner, he gifted it for the brand. Right, Kel? Kelsey stammered off mic. Yeah, totally synergy. But Raymond shook his head. Witness statements say otherwise. Borrowed for an event. Never returned. Re-registered yesterday with altered docs. He glanced at the trailer. Forensics team will verify the mods. Custom work doesn't lie. The second cruiser pulled closer, gravel crunching. 2 more officers emerged, cuffs glinting. Chloe backed against the door, my door etched with that subtle grain pattern I'd tooled by hand. You can't. This is my launch, my life. Her eyes darted wild now, searching for an out. The crowd shifted, some filming, others edging away. A murmur built. Girl, what? Stole it, no way. Kelsey's phone dipped low, catching Raymond's nod. The partner stepped forward. Hands behind your back, Ms. Vance. You're under arrest for theft by deception and forgery. Chloe spun, kimono flaring. No, this is harassment, call my lawyer. But the cuffs clicked, cold steel on wrists, that final snap louder than the toast. She twisted heels, skidding on the deck. Let go, Kelsey, stream this, tell them it's a setup. The feed captured it all. Chloe's shriek pierced the night raw, unfiltered. Ethan, you bastard, this is you, isn't it? Raymond guided her down the steps, firm but unyielding. Save it for the station. The crowd parted, a mix of horror and thrill. Phones reignited, capturing the walk of shame to the cruiser. Kelsey dropped the live, but not before the views hit 50,000. Oh my God, guys, prayers for Chloe. Her voice broke, camera shaking as sirens finally whooped. Short burst just to clear. I watched through the binoculars as they loaded her in. Door slam. Taillights fading down the access road. The vineyard fell silent, then erupted whispers to shouts. Women clustering, theories flying. She seemed so authentic. That trailer was fire stolen. Kelsey slumped against the awning, phone dead in her hand. The stream cut to black, but the damage eternal. I lowered the glasses. Engine hummed back to life. Drove slow, looping wide. No need to linger. The blueprint had executed. Her portal slammed shut. Mine wide open. The cruiser taillights faded into the night, leaving the vineyard in stunned silence. Chloe's launch, her grand portal to power, deflated like a punctured dream under those string lights. Guests huddled in clusters, phones out like shields, replaying Kelsey's frozen feed. The internet, though, it never sleeps. Never spares. By the time I eased my truck into the driveway 40 miles away, the notifications were a torrent. Not on my quiet profile, hers fracturing in fragments. I killed the engine, let the workshop's hush wrap around me. Fired up the app. Chloe's once glowing grid, now a digital wreckage. That arrest clip ripped straight from the live, someone had sliced it clean, influencer cuffed mid-manifest. Views 200,000, surging. I played it back. There she was, glass raised in queenly toast kimono, swirling like victory. Then Raymond's steady voice badge catching the glow. Her face the crack. From radiant to raw in heartbeats. The yelp as steel snapped on her wrists, unscripted and shrill. Comments flew like indictments, karma in cuffs. Stole the trailer and the spotlight, epic flop. Boss babe to blotter sheet. Handcuffs emojis, skull faces, endless scrolls. Her inner circle, those 50 sisters, half hit, unfollow by midnight. The rest, silent spectators dissecting. Dawn hit with the virus in full swing. Coffee steaming on the drafting table, I scrolled the fallout. Local news snagged it, guru netted at event for theft. Blurry stills from the stream, Chloe mid-stumble to the car poise peeled away. Her brand page locked down. Bio still chirped, manifest magic, nomad queen. But the reels yanked. Teased sponsors, wellness drops, gemstone hustles vanished. Leaked DM, launch lit till the lights out. Revoking collab. Ouch. Kelsey's stories filled the voids. She surfaced shaky black screen, scripted sorrow. Vibes for my girl, mix up, stay tuned. But the replies, razor sharp. You greenlit the glow up on his dime? Subpoena incoming narrator. Followers bled out 5 digits gone by lunch. The retreat betas flipped. One wellness VP went live, signed for self-love, stayed for the statement. Vet your visionaries, queens. Trailer thief trended local. Chloe's shot at stardom vaporized before liftoff. That 3-day summit, 1,200 per soul refunds rushed. Buzz turned to backlash. Her list unsubs in waves. Domain check chloevibes.com, billed to my card for team tools. Now flagged for auction by some domain shark. Client wins silent. Her affirmation reel, all whispers and wonder, memed merciless. Mugshot mashups. Universe said felony first. Raymond rang mid-morning, gravel voice cutting static. Hail. Forensics cleared the trailer. Minor scratches from her tweaks, no structural hit. But we lit the joist. That oak beam. E+C carved deep under layers. UV trace caught it sharp. Ownership slam dunk. Forgeries amateur, your scan, her sloppy edit. Facing 2 to 5 full comp. Materials plus sweat equity. Equity. 15 grand in parts, my clocked hours. 25 easy on appraisal. I murmured thanks. Click, no cheer. Just gears locking in. But the gem here, the hack that flips Fallout to Fortress, etch your claim in the craft. Not just docs or digits, tactile tells like initials in a joist. Cops crave concrete. Quartz too. Amid filters and fakes, a gouged grain ironclad. Zero cost, just a blade and belief. File it under foresight. Evening amplified the echo. National Bites TikTok duets with podcasters, Grift 101 borrow brand bust. Million views. Mug leaked pallid liner streaked filter free. Family mute. Dad's old posts scrubbed. Vineyard hit with suits deposit dust rep in ruins. No charge for charge sheets. Next day, post green light, I hit the impound yard. Chain link glare towed it steady. Barn slot weighted silver hull dusting sunbeams. Inside, faint Palo Santo haze over my poly. Pillows pitched. Curtain scars, walnut dowels inbound sanded seamless. Pit outside weld true. Dropped onto the bench leather worn just so and exhaled. Not the sting, the symmetry. Her realm of reels and ruse. Mine fiber and fortitude. Bridge billions of backlit eyes. And that's the engine of her unraveling, not fate's flick, but the pixelated gavel of our age. Chloe's curtain rose on a cozy stage vineyard veranda, 30 guests too tangled in her tale to probe. There she owned the air, the arc, the applause, but beam it to the boundless blue of social scrolls. The crowd balloons from polite dozens to digital hordes. No ties, no tact. Pure pixelated probe. Enter the court of public screens. Those first 30 might have mulled murmurs over mimosas softened by selfies or shared secrets. But bleary-eyed thousands at 3 a.m., no grace. They jury the jolt thumb as ticket verdict viral. Kelsey's stream, no slip. It was the spotlight. HD handover toast to tangle badge to bind, scream to share. No wriggle room, no energetic error. Just the jam jagged in JPEGs. What she missed, what so many miss in the like-lit lane, is the throne's tilt. Power's no longer perched on the priciest pitch or prettiest post. It kneels to the keeper of keys, the data dossier. That geotagged glow from her own grid pinning the rig to my registry modern manacles. In this captured chronicle, every curl of smoke, every screw in the siding, deeds draft the docket, not declarations, and any scroller with signal steps to the stand. Poetic payback. She stacked her seat on swipes and sheen sermonizing sync while skewing signatures. Now her weapon wields the whip. Sisters shred the script and subs sleuth the scam via search. Backers bolt on balance, buzz buys no buffer. Virality veils the vein. Her howl over house beats tagged when vibes meet verdict. Laughs laced with law. Yet under the uproar, a nod for navigators like us. We've weathered the wipeout work, whittled from the weave the welds, and worries waved as old school. This wake-up log it, link it, launch it, not for lash, but leverage. When wrong wires wide, so does the win. And their poise prevails over pretense always. Her haze cleared feeds by Friday, fresher feuds filling frames. But bookings loomed, arraign no bond. Repay reckoning my stack starring. Kelsey juice joint shifts shots of Shore's solo. Roadmap rerouted by real roots, twist, not tossed. Back at the bench, rasped over rod holes, shaving, snowing soft. Airstream side, still panels pulling power. Scarred, sure, stronger. Set for solo spins. Weeks blurred after the arrest, the vineyard dust settling like ash on a cold fire. Chloe's world. It didn't just crack, it caved. Court dates stacked like unpaid bills, her bail hearing a farce. The judge, a no-nonsense type with wire rims, eyed the forged title like it was Exhibit 1 in a bad joke. Manifestation doesn't cover fraud, Miss Vance. Bail denied. Remanded pending trial. 2 counts grand larceny plus identity theft on the docks. Restitution, they pegged the trailer at 25,000 my labor hours converted to billable rates. 15 in materials, 10 in sweat. She stared at the gavel fall, that queenly poise shattered into something small cornered. Her feed, a ghost town. What was left, those last manic posts got weaponized. Netizens stitched them into takedown threads, from Jokchum boss babe to barred from bars. Views in the millions, now algorithms feasting on the fall. Sponsors didn't just drop, they sued for breach, clawing back promo fees. The crystal line cease and desist for misrepresentation. Her client list, a dozen lawsuits brewing false advertising, emotional distress. One ex-follower, a therapist from the retreat, spilled on a pod. She charged for breakthroughs while building on borrowed bones. Chloe's response. A single desperate story from county lockup, energy blocked, send light. Likes 3. From bots, Kelsey's orbit collapsed too. Juice bar gig lasted a week, owner caught wind of the stream, cut her loose. No drama in my kale. She pivoted to healing journeys, posting sun salutes from a beach rental. But the comments, venom. Healer or hype woman, followers fled to zero. Last I heard, she ghosted the coast, crashing with family in Ohio. No more chick nomad queen tags. Just silence, the kind that echoes. Chloe's family fractured under the glare. Dad, that buttoned-up accountant, sold the houseboat to cover her lawyer, some ambulance chaser promising manifested miracles. Mom radioed dark her garden club chats, turning to whispers. Our girls. Rebranding. The community they circled wagons at first, then cracked. Old yoga crew unfriended en masse. One aunt went public on Facebook, blood's thicker but theft's theft. Holidays solo in a cell block. No turkey, just turkey bastard regrets, she wrote once from intake. Smuggled note via a guard buddy of Raymond's, part of the file now. Ethan, this is the universe's curveball. We can pivot. Your energy called this. Pivot. I read it over lunch, then filed it with the rest. No reply. Her curveball self-inflicted. The trailer wasn't alone. It was a launch pad she hijacked. Now she's grounded, literally. Plea deal whispers, 3 years probation, community service, scrubbing floors, at the very retreats she mocked as analog. Fitting, poetic even. Her glow-up grounded in grout. Me. The flip side felt like exhaling after a long hold. No victory lap, just steady steps forward. Word spread quiet. At first, Raymond mentioned my story to a reporter buddy. Guy didn't rage, he receded. That piece hit a craft blog, The Builder Who Blueprinted Justice. Not sensational. Solid. Shared in woodworking forums, then Reddit's R relationships. Read this if your SO treats your hustle like hashtag fodder. Upvotes snowballed. Comments from guys like us, finally a win without fists. Metadata tip gold saving for my garage Reno. The workshop phone rang off the hook by Friday. First call, a van life YouTuber, 60,000 subs. Saw the Airstream saga, custom solar, let's collab. Paid build vid, I quoted fair materials plus time, he bit. Next a couple from Portland eyeing a teardrop trailer restore. Heard you turn rust to roadworthy. Quote, then the guild email, Ethan Hale featured artisan. Booth comped at fall fair. Orders queued, side tables, cabinet sets. My calendar filled not with voids but value. Bills paid, buffer built. No more scraping for scraps. The real shift perspective. I'd always worked solo, head down in the grain. Now eyes up, a local mag profiled the barn, from betrayal to bestseller builds. Photos of the Airstream post-patch holes filled with walnut inlays, seamless as secrets kept. Readers flooded in emails from mechanics, coders, dads. Your calm under chaos, blueprint for my divorce docs. One stuck. Thanks for showing value, isn't viral, it's verified. I took a drive that weekend, first real one since the towback. Hit the backroads windows, down that aluminum hum like a heartbeat synced. Parked by the lake I'd eyed for years, mist rolling off, water pines framing the shore. Stepped out, boots crunching gravel. The trailer's galley gleamed copper lines I'd sweat soldered, catching sun. Brewed coffee on the induction top, my wiring flawless. Sat at the bench, leather molding to me like an old friend. No sage stink, just varnish and victory. That night, fire pit crackled under stars. Logs, I'd split myself, sparks, dancing lazy. Phone quiet for once, no pings, no pleas, just the pop and the peace. I'd sketched a new project that morning, a fleet of mini campers for urban escapees. Hail Havens, logo simple hammer crossed with a key, unbreakable, unborrowable. Chloe's ashes. They scattered wide, legal fees, eating her savings, rep reduced to Reddit roasts. Mine stoked, steady. From the embers of her empire, I forged my own. Not louder, just longer lasting. And that's the quiet math of it all. Her path flashed floods of followers' foundations on filters. One storm and sunk. Mine roots in the real receipts, rivets resolve. When the wave hits, you don't drown. You dam it, divert it, drink deep. Guys, we've all mapped it. The slow sink when your build gets billed as basic, your brakes as backdrop. But flip the frame. What if the fallout's your fertilizer, that betrayal broadcast? It beams your blueprint too. Suddenly the scrolls spotlight skill over sparkle. Clients call not for clout, but craft. Your quiet grind goes guild legend. Take this. Diversify your docs early, not just for courts, for collabs. Watermark work in progress timestamp trades. Free apps do it embed your edge invisible. When the split comes, you're not scrambling, you're showcasing. Turns loss to leverage every time. Ethan's arc, not endpoint. Ever forward. Workshop walls echo with saws, now not silence. Orders outpace overtime. That lake lot leased long-term. Airstream's home base solar sipping sun. No co-pilot needed, just compass and calluses. Chloe last clip, I saw Bale hearing outtake her and Orange arguing alignment. Judge's sigh said it all. Her vibe vanquished. Mine vibrant. The difference, depth. Hers skin deep in screens. Mine marrow bred in making. Breathe it in. Your hands hold the hammer. Swing true. The sun dipped low that final evening, painting the lake's edge in strokes of amber and slate. I'd spent the day tinkering not out of restlessness, but rhythm. Final tweaks to the Airstream's underbelly tightened a loose brace on the axle, the one I'd overlooked in the chaos. Tools clinked soft against the gravel, each turn a full stop on the frenzy. Chloe's shadow faded to footnote. Mine solid as the hull. I stepped inside, as twilight thickened the door, sighing shut behind me. The interior wrapped familiar oak floors. I'd laid true brass latches, catching the last light. No more faint whiff of her sage, just the clean tang of polish and pine. I paused at the galley, ran a hand along the countertop edge. Smooth, unscarred. The curtain holes, patched weeks back, walnut plugs, sanded flush grain, matched like whispers. But something tugged a loose thread in the weave. I knelt by the lower cabinet, the one I'd built with a false back. Hidden compartment, my little engineer's secret, big enough for valuables, small enough for secrets. A thumb catch disguised as a knot in the oak. Clicked it open. Dust motes danced in the beam from the window. There nestled in velvet a slim box, midnight blue. I lifted it out, weight light as regret. Snapped the lid. The ring glinted simple band white gold with a single emerald chip. Cut to echo the cabochon I'd set in her affirmation necklace months back. For the woman who sees the spark in everything, I'd planned to say. Kneeling by that fire pit under stars, her laughing at my nerves. Forever etched in metal and promise. I held it to the light, turned it slow. The facets caught flecks of sunset throwing green fire on the wall. Memories flickered, not the good ones, the gut ones. Her scrolling through feeds while I sketched the setting, murmuring about aesthetic synergy. The way she'd sized it up like another prop. Babe, it'll slay in the proposal reel. Not us. The shot. I closed my eyes. Felt the cool band against my palm. What if no? What now? The box clicked shut. I slid it back into the nook, thumbed the panel flush. Rose slow, dusted my knees. Stepped to the doorway, leaned against the frame. Lake lapped gentle pines whispering overhead. No rage left. Just the quiet math of it all. You know, fellas, we've all carved out these compartments in ourselves. Places for the what-ifs, the forever we etched too soon. I built this trailer as an anchor, tangible, tested. Something that withstands storms because it's rooted in real work. Grain by grain, rivet by rivet. Chloe, she chased the shine. Polished exteriors, viral veneers. Built her world on what looked good in a frame, not what held up under weight. That's the twist, isn't it? The real betrayal wasn't the theft. It was the hollow at the core. She manifested a mask, borrowed my bones to prop it up. Me, I learned the hard way, value isn't in the views or the vows scribbled on a vision board. It's in the quiet builds, the ones that endure because they're earned. Sweat over sparkle, proof over promise. I locked the door that night, trailer secure. Walked to the truck under a sky pricked with stars. Engine turned over, smooth headlights cutting the dark. No rearview glance, just forward. The road unspooling, open and honest. And if you're out there grinding through your own blueprint, hands calloused, heart heavier, hear this: seal your secrets, but don't let them sink you. Build what lasts. The rest, it flakes off like old varnish. You've got the tools. Use them.